Hey everybody. If you watched the introduction, you already know who I am. If you don't, my name is Daquan Hall. I'm a consultant here in Miami, Florida. I work with businesses to help them improve their customer experience and improve customer retention. We do that through all types of statistical analysis and data and marketing techniques and all this stuff that I'm pretty sure will bore you guys. Just so you know, I'm doing this from home. So if you hear my dog barks, it's because he hears somebody outside. And I'd like to say that he thinks it's an intruder that's coming to attack me, but he probably just wants to play with them and see if they'll rub his belly. Um, anyway, let's get started, right? Today we're going to talk about customer experience, how we can use it to maximize sales, retention, and customer satisfaction. Right, so customer experience is really the relationship that we build with customers over time through the experience that they have with our brand, right? Um, and it's the overall engulfing experience that they have with every piece of medium and communications that we put out over time. How does customer experience play into customer centricity? So, if you don't know, customer centricity is the idea that we build products and services for customers, right? We should be listening to our customers about what they want to see in our products and services. Not only that, we should be building products and services for customers that have the highest value for us as a company, right? When we do that, we see higher sales. It's not that we tell certain people that they can't purchase from us. It's just that we're saying we have a certain set of customers that we really built this product out for, and those are the customers we want to really roll the red carpet out for. That's what customer centricity is. And customer experience is all about making sure that those highest value segments are treated really, really well, that they enjoy having the experience that they have with their company, that they actually enjoy shopping with us. It's a bit different from, let's go jump ahead a little bit. Okay, my computer doesn't want to jump ahead. Now it does. That's awesome. Anyway, it's a bit different from customer service, and the difference is that customer service is more of an individual thing, whereas customer experience is all about the entire company and how the customer experiences that company. Right? I don't know why my computer's acting this way right now. It's right when you need it to do something for you, right? That's when it starts to act crazy. Anyway, um, so what are the financial and strategic objectives of customer experience or of transforming your company to be more to increase that customer experience? Um, Here's what your customers expect. Modern customers, in the past, customers were willing to, if you walked outside and said, I have product A for sale, who would like to buy product A? Whoever wanted to buy product A would show up, right? No longer is that the case because we live in highly competitive environments. We have companies that compete across different industries, different mediums, different platforms. For example, Facebook is not just a big player in advertising, they also have payments, right? So within the payment industry, even though Facebook is not a big player in the payments industry, you could see, given how many users they have, given the reach that they have in different users' life, given the amount of time that people are on Facebook, if Facebook wanted to really pursue that market, it would be a big deal for those in the payment industry. So what customer experience is all about is making sure that our customers are so happy shopping with us, essentially, that they don't really want to switch, right? And competitively, talking about switching, competitively, that creates those high switching costs that we want for our customers. We want our customers to say, it is difficult for me to leave this company and go to the next company because I have to learn everything all over. I have to do this all over. There was one time that I was working with a company who sells television services, and a lot of the things that customers were complaining about when they were trying to sign on was that if they signed on with this company, they had to learn new channels. They had to learn how to use the remote again. They had to learn all these different things. So part of what we did was we made sure that every technician gave a small training session and a pamphlet to those customers when they decided to actually sign on with our service as opposed to whoever their current service provider was. Right, and that's what customer centricity and that's what customer experience is all about, right? Obviously, the financial objectives are to make more money. The way you do that is by acquiring more customers. You lose less customers when they enjoy what they're doing with you, when they feel like they've been handheld and walked through the process, right? You lose less customers when those customers who have already purchased stay on board, when your retention rate is high. And when you can figure out how to maximize that, you get more revenue because you reduce your recidivism, or you reduce your churn rate, so to speak. All right, we already kind of touched on this, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So, customer service is all about your customer actually interacting with individuals in the company and how they felt from that interaction with that person, right? So that customer service and how well you were able to take care of their needs. That's what customer service is all about. Experience is more uh, overarching. So it has to do with how did they feel when they watched that commercial, right? What are we portraying to them? Send the email, click the buy button, decide to give us a call, walk into the store. What did we portray to them so that they felt like this is a company that they need to shop with, right? Customer experience is really an overarching, all out effort between every department in the company to make sure that we take care of the people who are paying us, which is our customers. So, what customers are interacting with during that time period are touch points, right? Touch points are those individual platforms, marketing collateral, all those different areas where they get a chance to interact with our brand. It has to do with our messaging. It has to do with the platforms that we choose, whether it be social media, TV, radio, magazines, park benches, whatever medium we choose to get our message out there. How do they experience that? Right, and how do we create something that makes it more experiential for them, right? That's also an aspect of customer experience, right? So the individual touch points are the areas that the customers interact with, right? They're not the individuals, but they're more so the areas. Now, as your customers are interacting with these touch points, what happens is what gets created is a journey, and we'll talk more about the journey later on, right? Before we do that, I just want to get into this slide, which is friction, right? Friction is, uh, for better word, the best way to describe friction is the idea that these are things that slow up the process, that cause, basically, I think it says here, things that are just annoying to the customer. That's the best way to describe it. Is uh, when you call Comcast or other companies like that, sometimes you got to wait 2 days and then they give you a 4 hour window of when they're going to come and install. Well, that means you got to be home 4 hours. You can't even run to the store because if you miss him when he comes, then you just missed your appointment and you got to reschedule. Things like that. Those are examples of friction. Now, what we're doing in customer experience is looking at our touch points, right? And finding out where those areas of friction exist. The way we do that is by analyzing the voice of the customer, or VOC for short. Voice of the customer is customer feedback, right? That is it in a nutshell. At times, when you're trying to make your brand a little bit more friendly to customers, you're going to find that you don't really know what the customers are looking for or how to improve things, right? So you might have a sales process that your customers are following, and you might be looking at those touch points and saying, okay, customers drop off between touch point A and touch point B, but we don't know why, right? So that's where voice of the customer comes in, right? Sometimes it'll be there and it'll be apparent. Other times it won't, and VOC becomes way more important. Sometimes you'll be doing things that you've never done before, and it'll be important to analyze VOC early, right? So VOC is really analyzed through surveys, net promoter scores, different things like that, just to connect the dots from the company to the individuals that shop with us. The reason this is important, obviously, I think maybe, is that our customers give us money. Over time, you can become bogged down in the process of the way that you do things. This happens a lot in nonprofits. Nonprofits get caught up in the numbers, right? Just get in the numbers because the numbers are the way that I continue to get money to run the organization. And you lose sight of what you're actually doing and how to connect, how that service is connected to the bigger picture, right? Your customers, on the other hand, they're not losing sight of that because they purchased it for the bigger picture. So they're a valuable resource in figuring out your customer centricity strategy, your customer experience strategy. I'm sorry. So you need to analyze voice of the customer and find out what it is they want, what's going wrong, and what's going right. How can we make things better, right? So here are several sources of friction. Inconsistency, right? So telling one customer one thing, telling another customer another thing. If these two customers ever talk, or if you want to get recommendations, then they know, there was something inconsistent. Also, if I call once and get one offer, and call twice and get another offer, and they're not the same, and I like the first offer better, or something to that effect, that starts to put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, right? Unreliability, right? Not knowing if you're going to do what you said you were going to do, right? That's a big one. Lack of transparency, right? I'd say that this one becomes bigger the more suspicious customers become of your company, or the less that they know you, right? So the more transparent you are, the easier it is to deal with you because I can see what's going on behind the scenes. The more I trust you, the less I need that transparency from you, right? Dishonesty, I think that's self-explanatory. Nobody likes a company that's dishonest. Poor quality, again, that's also pretty self-explanatory. Nobody wants to spend their money on something that doesn't live up to their own personal standards. Incongruency. Now, this one is important because it's about making sure that your brand comes across the same over and over again. It's also between dealing with one customer, dealing with one employee versus another, right? So, do I always feel great about my interactions with your company, or does it depend on who I speak with, right? This one is also pretty hard to put into the company because it's a lot of psychology and team building and internal. I can't remember the word right now, but it has a lot to do with how you as a manager interact with your team and how you train your team. And last thing is value, right? You want to make sure that we're actually delivering value. If we're not delivering value, then of course our customer experience is going to be low. If I thought I was buying a product that was worth 5 stars and when I get it it's worth one, of course I'm going to be very upset and not going to be very happy with what I purchased, right? So the buyer's journey, right? Now, this is where we bring everything together, right? These individual steps of the buyer journey are all about your individual touch points. Your touch points will fall within certain sections of the buyer's journey, right? So we have 5 sections. There's attention, interest, desire, action, and retention. So let's say, for example, you have a company, you advertise on social media. Social media would be a part of your attention phase. Now, those touch points that are set up in that phase, right? Those touch points are important to attract attention. So you will approach them in a different way and approach them very informatively, very openly, very transparent because this company to get how to put together your offering in their mind, right? The interest phase is where the customer shows that they're a bit more interested in what we're doing, right? That means they downloaded a white paper, they watched a video, right? They attended a webinar, etc. Right? Somehow they showed us that whatever we offered is interesting to them. And as you can see, right, the white paper, the webinar, video, the touch points are a bit different at this stage, but we're still focusing on making sure that we create a very streamlined and simple process that elates the customers, makes them happy that they signed on with us, right? Now, the desire phase is all about the customers showing us now that they want what we sell, right? Now they might be evaluating different options, but we know that they are ready. They're open to buying this product now, right? So in this phase, they might do something like schedule a sales call, right? And at that point, that's your touch point, right? They might schedule, or however else, they might enter a store. There's 1,000 different ways to look at it. It's just all about your customer and your business. This phase is the action phase, right? And in this phase, the customer actually is deciding to make a purchase. You've given them a call to action. You told them what are the next steps, and they say, cool, let's do it. I want to buy this from you, right? This is the phase we all love because it's when we get money, right? And we want to maximize the touch points there as well. We want to make it frictionless. We want to make sure that actually paying us, actually giving us the money feels good, right? Feels like they're doing the right thing. So in this stage, one of your touch points might be not only the invoice, but it also might be a onboarding video or onboarding system that you use through maybe a learning management system where you show them how to work your app, how to work your system, how to best maximize the value that they get from your offering. And the retention phase is all about giving them exactly what they continue to want from your company. Nothing frustrates me more than being a customer of a company and that company says, well, now you're my customer. I have offers over here for these new customers, but I don't really have any offers for you. You just should pay me because I've already done the work to acquire you. Here's the problem with that, right? First of all, it doesn't feel good for the older customers, right? Because it feels like, oh, well, you got me and now you just don't care. Second, it lowers the bar on those switching costs we talked about, right? How easy is it to switch between phone plans? Most companies will offer to pay off your phone bill, pay off your old over to their company, right? Because they know the amount of time that you're going to stay with me is going to pay me back for that investment, plus pay me probably even more ROI. And also, it's because there really isn't much of a difference between the phone companies and what they do, right? You get text messages, you get calling, you mostly get unlimited calling, unlimited text messages. You can watch videos and get data, and that's pretty much it. Now, we do have some discrepancies between who's better or who's worse, but for the most part, if you're a person that doesn't really care and you just want a cheap bill, you're going to switch very easily, right? So retention becomes incredibly important. Another thing that's really important about the retention phase is it lowers your marketing costs, right? I don't have to work to reacquire a customer that I already had, right? As long as I continue to keep them there and keep them happy and keep servicing them the way they want to be serviced, then they're going to stick around. And it's not necessarily about having brand new offers for them, having new sales, different things like that. It's really about making sure that the company is doing things that the customer really wants. For example, Amazon will send you an email after you make a purchase showing you what other things who purchased whatever item you just purchased also purchased. So if you purchase a fishing rod, you might see an email that says, hey, people who bought that fishing rod also bought this tackle box. And they also bought these other fishing accoutrements, because I'm not a fisherman, I don't know, that you may also be interested in, right? And they keep up with the things that you purchase. And that's what it's all about, that kind of retention, right? So they have an offer for you. They have what they think you might be interested in, and they're going to keep sending it to you so that you know, right? And it feels good, and you don't feel like you didn't get something that a new customer gets, right? And with that, I'd like to